Hey all, Heretic here with another Hearthstone Battlegrounds Players Guide, and I'm here to bring you the information you need to help you win with Enhance-o Mechano. So get comfy and let's dive in. First, let's talk about the hero power Enhancification. This costs 0 gold and reads passive. After each refresh, give a minion in Bob's Tavern Wind Fury, Reborn, or Divine Shield. So what this means is that anytime the shop is refreshed, basically, that means a minion is added to the shop. So if you tier up to an even tier number, it will add a minion because it always increases the number of minions at those stages to the shop. If you buy one minion and the shop is frozen, that still counts as a refresh for the purposes of the hero power. You're still going to get the benefit of another one added. It's important to remember that it can't hit a minion that already has one of these special type of buffs unless they already all have a buff. It doesn't have to be one the hero power attached, it just has to fall into one of those 4 categories. It is pretty cool because you can buy a minion you don't want. If one of the minions you already want in the shop has a buff you want, there's another minion you want and you want a chance for it to get one of those buffs, you can buy one of the other minions, a filler minion or maybe something to help the quest. Now there's a decent chance that other minion you didn't buy gains the buff. Now obviously, the higher in the tavern tiers you go, the more minions in the shop, the less likely this will happen. But in the early game, you can kind of fudge it a little bit, especially if, well, say there's already 2 minions with Divine Shield, 1 you want with Reborn, and a 4th with nothing. That 4th one's going to be the one to get it. So you can kind of target it. It's tough. I wouldn't force this, but it's cool when it lines up right and the stars align and it happens. Issue of this, of course, is the randomness. It's as likely to be the best minion gets the buff you want as it is the worst buff can attach to the best minion. Your Baron Rivendare has Taunt. I don't care how happy you are on turn 12 to finally find Baron Rivendare. He's got Taunt. He's useless unless you already have Parasol as a quest, in which case, good for you. Now, when I'm tiering with Enhance-o, typically I will do basic, curve, or 3-on-3. Basically, it depends on that turn 3, when I'm sitting there looking at that shop, what's in there, what other families are in the shop, is this a good time to tier to 3, or should I just stay on tier? If I see a piggyback imp with Reborn or Divine Shield, I'm probably going to stay on tier. If they're all tier 1 minions and my opponent also goes to 3, I'm going to 3. So basically, judge your shop, judge your opponents, make the best call you can, but typically, it's going to be one of those things that make you decide which way you want to go. Now, when it comes to the quest rewards I'm looking for when I'm playing Enhance-o, we're not going to think about that as much because any quest reward that's good in your lobby will work with Enhance-o. His hero power is completely random, so there's nothing you really can do to force or gel together unless you get really lucky. So let's look at the quest. And what you want to do is think about how his quest is going to help you get more minions, Reborn and Divine Shield for the purposes of attack. This is going to help you complete some quests faster. So definitely consider more instantly when you see an assemble a lineup, crack the case, or reenact the murder quest. These are a lot easier to complete because of the nature of your hero power. Definitely gives you an easier path to winning your lobby. As for the minions in the strats, I like to use when I'm playing Enhance-o. So there is no one tribe or type of minions you want to be using. The nature of his hero power being random doesn't really matter. Obviously, if you're playing Murlocs, Divine Shields are amazing. Why wouldn't you take them? Look, I've turn 1, there's 2 Murlocs in the shop. They both have Divine Shields. I just changed my plans a little bit. I'm going to lean that way. That makes sense. Taunt, we don't really need to think about that. It's random. Odds are it's not going to give Taunt to the minion we want. It's always going to be the minion we don't want. So let's not think about that. Let's look at the ones that matter. Wind Fury, obviously. Cave Hydra. Wildfire Elemental. Foe Reaper. This late in the game, you're probably not buying a Foe Reaper. You're probably tripling into it, so it's probably not going to have it. But if it's a triple and you get lucky, and it's sitting in the shop and you've already got a Foe Reaper and it doesn't have Wind Fury, take it. Why the hell not? And finally, probably the most impactful to the game, especially in the early to mid game, is Reborn. Reborn is just such an amazing power to give a minion that suffers lethal damage to just stand back up. It's only got 1 health. Oftentimes, that's all you need. So here's just a couple examples sitting in tier 2. Kaboombot, Piggyback Imp, Sewer Rat, hell, Selfless Hero. If you get Selfless Hero to get reborn, you're probably going to be keeping that for the duration of the game. The following is a couple examples of minions that, if they have reborn, are just multiple times better. Bird Buddy. Your Bird Buddy, how many times has it been hit early and done? You got no chance. Now you got no scaling. You got no way to make your board work. You were chugging along, kicking everybody. Second the Bird Buddy dies, you're done. Reborn? No problem. Deflectobot. How many times has your Deflectobot gone first? And the first thing their minion does is hit your Deflectobot. Before any resets can go, before anything happens, now you don't care. He gets back up. Dazzling Light Spawn, same idea. How many times have it been sitting on the end? You're trying to farm out some dead minions so you can get your elementals buffed. Dies early. No problem. Hey, how about a late game Tunnel Blaster with Reborn? Do you run into a George player every now and then whose whole board's Divine Shield because it's George, and all of a sudden there's a Selfless Hero parked in the middle of it? That Reborn is going to knock off all their new shields they just reapplied. Even Tunnel Blaster can get in on the action at the right time. Obviously, Baron Rivendare, many times more effective than the Bird Buddy in this scenario, but when the Baron Rivendare gets back up, it feels really, really good. And finally, the 2 MVPs, Leroy the Reckless and Manted Queen. Because a minion that kills anything that kills it, that gets back up, isn't strong enough. How about a minion that can evolve multiple times, has poison, and then when it dies, it gets back up casually with poison and 1 health. Does the job again for you all over. Even beyond MVP, to the next level, the insane value of Khadgar. Because if you get a Khadgar, and one of your minions dies with Reborn, you get 2 of them. And if it's a gold Khadgar, you're getting the picture. You can go completely nutty with this simple tier 3 minion sitting next to all your other minions, and they've got Reborn, and you're just loving life. So obviously these are the best case scenarios, but hey, now you know, keep an eye out for these minions because they work really, really well with this hero. Now when it comes to countering Enhance-o, there's 2 modes it feels like when you're fighting Enhance-o. You encounter the person who's got an entire board full of Divine Shield, Poison, Murlocs with a Reborn Selfless Hero. Or you run into the person who's all game, but trying to put together a Leapfrogger build because it's all they're finding, but they can't get a Baron. They finally get a Baron Rivendare, and they have Taunt. It seems like there's only these 2 extremes. True, there's happy mediums, but we only remember the ones who either destroy us or we just laughably kill. In the early game, there isn't too much you can do because of the power being random and the minions they find, of course, going to be random. It's all about the combination they manage to get. So yes, if they hit some power, they get the Piggyback Imp, it's got Reborn, you're probably going to be in trouble in the early game unless you also have lots of little death rattles to kill those. Depends what you're finding. In the later game, though, expect a board full of Divine Shields. Expect Reborn. They might not, but it's better to prepare for it just in case they do. So with that in mind, probably your best minion to counter them, if you yourself aren't running a lot of Divine Shields, is Tunnel Blaster. Maybe even if you're running a lot of Divine Shields. Because Tunnel Blaster is going to take out all those shields. Now they need to find a way to reset it. If you're using a Tunnel Blaster, you already know you need a way to get more shields. So hopefully it gives you the leg up. That's probably your best bet. Otherwise, your best bet, if it's early enough, or if they're just not playing with a care in the world and they haven't buffed their minions, run a Zap at them and let Zap get that Khadgar or that Baron in the back line and just not worry about it anymore. These are probably the best ways to deal with it. I mean, depending what they're playing and what you're playing, there's always different technical plays you can go, but these are the most consistent ones you're going to have. Real quick, if you don't want to miss the next guide, these guides are entertaining to you, you're learning some new things, you're just having a good time with them, or maybe you're just laughing at me going, he's so silly, he thinks that works, that's cute. Please hit like, subscribe, leave comments, whatever you feel like doing you're comfortable with. Really helps keep me motivated. These videos are making me a better player, and I hope they're helping you too. Thank you. Overall, I'm not really a huge fan of this kind of RNG hero power. It cuts both ways, it's good, it's bad, it doesn't really feel great to me. That being said, you've probably seen a million YouTube highlights where this hero dominated the lobbies in ways you can only dream about. They hit the nuts, they've got Reborn everything, Divine Shield everything, Golden Khadgar, they're unstoppable. And yes, those can happen. Those are the minority. I feel like this hero is incredibly good in the early game because of this hero power on a couple minions, because there's a lot of decent minions in the low game. And then in that part of the game, giving them Reborn and Divine Shield makes them amazing minions till the very late mid game, if not the late game. So this hero is very good at getting 4th to 6th place overall, and in no way will hurt your placing if you get good at this hero. If you have good luck with the RNG that is his hero power, you're going to be unstoppable. This hero is good. It just is very, very random. And for me, it's super frustrating when you get to the end game and your key minions roll the wrong ability, i.e. almost always taunt. Taunt's a disaster when you're looking for those really good tier 6 minions sometimes. A couple times where it works, but more often than not, you don't want those kind of things. That being said, don't pass on Enhance-o. Give them a try. I think you'll have a good time. Overall, unless you have luck like I do. Stay tuned. I have more guides on the way. I hope you learned a few things today and had a good time. I know I did. Thanks for watching. Bye.